is hot like a melting pot. And didn't you know? Earth is hot like a melting pot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, really? Oh, yeah. Yo, yeah, yeah. Really, really. Hey, Chuck. And I may say, whoa. Earth is hot like a melting pot. And didn't you know? Earth is hot like a melting pot. Yeah. Let me say lightning and thunder, brimstone and fire, gonna burn out them souls. Lightning and thunder, brimstone and fire, gonna burn out them souls. And I may say, whoa, earth is hot like a melting pot. And didn't you know? Earth is hot like a melting pot.
Greetings, one and all. This is
I don't care.
Pearls of Wisdom. No, I'm not talking about Pearls of Wisdom. That's the name of the show, Pearls of Wisdom. Yeah, right. So this is we're tuned in to blessradio.org.
Yeah.
Yes. Blessed Radio. Also, greetings one and all. This is Blessed Radio. You're on listening to blessradio.org. Excuse me, I'm tongue-tied right now. This is your host Pearls, and you are listening in right now to the Pearls of Wisdom show.
What are you doing?
I'm looking at the number. I can't see the number. You know, I should know it off by heart. You know.
The number by now.
I know, but you know, you just got to try and learn all these different numbers. Anyway,
check it.
right, let's
Two,
start
one,
again.
two, one,
Yes,
two.
from the top. Locks. You know, it all goes down at this radio station, doesn't it?
Not everything goes down.
No, not everything goes down.
There's
But when
something.
when it comes to 4 p.m. onwards, and it's the Pearls of Wisdom show, anything, you know, we just roll freely in here. You understand what I'm
Not
saying?
too free though.
Not too free, but you know, there's rooms for all of these little ditches and hitches, and because we are a real radio station, we are a conscious radio station, we are conscious of ourselves, we're real and true to ourselves, and we know these things will happen. So let's start from the top. Greetings one and all. I hope you've had a blessed day so far.
Okay, and
You are
I.
now, do you want to say something, brother?
No, go on when you
are
finish.
now tuned in to blessradio.org.
Okay, and for those who didn't understand, she said, "What go on, people? We're there right now, and you're listening to the radio. Big things are going. All right.
Yes.
Right, that's the translation of
That's
it.
right. The
All
patois
right.
translation. Yes.
Yes. I have to translate for my English listeners, you know, so they can understand what's going on.
Yes, that's
Yes,
right.
so they can understand what's going on.
Oh,
Yeah, I tell you something. But there, we're gonna talk a couple of things today. Today we are talking about black inventors,
yeah,
otherwise inventors with melanin.
that's right.
All right. But before we do that, I have something very, very important to share with you. Right. I talk some strange things, and when I talk, people think and say, "Oh, yeah, that don't sound too right to me." That is your problem. You understand what I'm saying? But and I just talk it because I know what I'm talking about. And sometimes you give advice to people or you share things with people because you understand the other person don't understand. It's like if you have a problem and you go to a doctor, you go to the doctor because the doctor should know what I go on.
Yeah, that's right, yes.
Right? Now, I'm not saying I should know what I go on, but I know what I go on.
Yeah.
In this particular case, so I will share it with my sisters and brethren. So greetings in the name of the Most High, the Almighty, the Most High Creator. Whether you want to say Jah, Rastafari, whether you want to say God, the Most High, or Yah, or Yeshua, or Jesus, or
Confucius.
no, there's so much, man.
Allah, Shiva, Krishna.
So many of them, innit?
Whichever elephant.
But we just said the Most High, yeah, the source, you know what I mean, where everything comes from. Right, today, before we talk about black inventors, right, I'm going to give you the number, just in case you know some black inventors and you want to give us a little shout of what they've done, because there's so much people inventing things, you know what I mean, even in Jamaica, right? There's a guy that made a car that run on water. He made this combustion system, goes in the boot of your car. You disconnect your petrol pipe from your petrol tank, and you connect it to this thing, and then your car run on water.
Pure water.
Pure water. Any water.
Distilled water.
Any water. Even if you want to take a leak in the thing, you can do that. Yes.
Okay.
Right. So he's in a hiding now because Babylon want to take him out.
Yeah.
Check that. Every
See
time.
that? It's really, see that?
Quick, before we go into that, because that is a serious thing.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah, right. You sound like when when your man coming late. You go, yeah, we need to talk about that. We're like, well, go on.
Talk about this because this is not right.
It's not right. So before we even talk about that, we're going to talk about this. A lot of us are not aware of what's going on. Things have changed. Times have changed. Obviously, they say, or the scriptures say, we wrestle against principalities and certain things. Yeah, so that's what it says. Yeah, but when you get to a higher heights, it's a different story. You know what I mean? And if you're directly living in a negative vibration all the time, you do wrong, you thief, you rob, you steal, then you won't understand that you get wrapped up in these principalities and these spirits are jumping in and out of you, making you do these things. But your real nature is not to harm anybody. By nature, you're not designed or made to harm or kill anyone. That is your true nature. So when you start to do things wrong, when you start getting violent, some people have to thief to survive. I'm going to be keeping it real, because some people have to thief to survive. I'm not saying thieving is justified.
Not maliciously.
But just to survive and put bread on the table, some people do this, But the Bible even tell you, say you must load them. But if you catch them, they must appear 7 times, right? But that's not the issue. Today, I'm going to share something with you which enough of you are not aware of. Right? I played a little clip during the week, but truth is now, things have changed to such a spiritual vibration, and it's so subtle that none of us haven't been aware that we are evolving, or we are evolved into a higher being, into a higher self. But because we're still eating the same thing, we're still listening to the same music, we're still drinking the same drink, we're still walking the same walk, and we're still talking the same talk, we won't notice the change. It's when you come out of your environment that you are in and go into the environment that is more adaptable for you, or more like your kind of environment, i.e. when you go back to Africa or when you go back home, then you realize you're functioning on your real self now. You know the difference, the energy and how you feel. You're saying, yo, this is me, Nothing, maybe nothing ain't going on around me, but within me, this is me. You understand? You know what I mean? It's just the environment now. Is strange, but within me now is alive, and I don't have to worry about signals from Wi-Fi and all these things bombarding me. Now, I'm just giving you a little insight of what I'm talking about, is that people don't realize that we've evolved spiritually. So you won't notice, as I said, if you're still playing the same song. If you're still listening to the same tune, you will not be aware. Sometimes you have to stop and listen to a different tune. And this is why we don't play too much bashment and darling, I love you and all this stuff, because everybody else is doing that. That's good for them. But to me, because we've evolved, we need a different vibration now. Constant positive vibration, Rastaman vibration, I suggest. Yeah, to keep us in line with the real us. Yeah, the divinity. Now, in saying that, how do you sleep at night, Sister Pearls?
How do I sleep at night?
Yeah, how you sleep at night? I don't ask you like what side of the bed, but how you sleep at night.
But you know, when you ask a question, I ruminate, I mull it over, I've got to, feel the question and know what you ask and know how to answer. That's why we harps it again.
Yeah.
How I sleep. So
how do you sleep at night?
You know what? I sleep quite well. To tell you the truth, I do. I sleep quite well.
All right. Do you get any pains? Do you wake up with any pains?
No.
You don't have no pains?
No.
All right, then that means that you'll get knackout, dead sleep.
Sleep out.
Oh, that means that you can sleep and find yourself, somebody can take up your bed and bring you out the house and throw it in a van and drive you somewhere and let you out and you're still sleeping.
Not to that extent.
Okay.
But I know that when I sleep well, because before I go to my bed, I meditate about my day. I analyze my day. I evaluate my day. Reevaluate certain things that have gone through, what needs to be changed and what needs to be done, etc. and etc. I offload whatever needs to be offloaded, anything that's negative and whatever the case may be.
Okay.
And then once I've done all of that, I know I'm good to go and I can lay my head to rest.
All right. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because there's a lot of us that don't really get a good night's sleep. Or you sleep, but it's not what it used to be. You know what I mean? Something's changed about your sleep pattern. Some of you ain't even getting any dreams anymore. Yeah? Or you can't remember your dreams. Before you used to dream, you remember your dream, you'll wake up out of your dream and get up and say, yo! It's like that part of us is something to some people that's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Now what I found out is that the other day I covered my mirror in the bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, I covered the mirror. When I covered the mirror, my sleep was totally different.
Okay.
Totally different. All right, so I'm sharing that with you for a reason. Because when we sleep, a part of us leave our body. Yeah, your spirit can travel. Yeah. Now a mirror is also a porthole.
Yeah, it's like a portal.
Yeah. You can use mirrors to do certain things. You can use mirrors to travel to different dimensions. And people don't know about that. Well, you can. People who want to travel to different timelines and different dimensions, you can use a mirror to do that. But all you're gonna get back, that is not my problem. Make sure you got your travel card or your freedom pass when you do that, because I don't know how you're gonna get back. Again, I don't even know if they accept freedom pass through the mirror, but the mirror is a gateway, a doorway.
Yeah, it is.
So when you cover that, like for example, when it's open, when the mirror's there, especially if the mirror, I'm gonna explain to you because you're gonna hear it again. If the mirror is facing your front door, move it. Because when you open the door, the energy from outside is going straight to that mirror. And that's in your house. Remember, mirror is a porthole. Yeah. Some of you are in certain pains in certain part of your body, right? But when you sleep, is there a mirror near that place where your pain is? Is, for example, some people can have pain in their foot, but the wardrobe could be at the end of the bed and the mirror could be there. Yeah. You could have pain in your back, but the mirror could be behind you when you sleep. You understand? These things is real. Yeah, because what a lot of people don't realize is that when I was younger, I should say, yes, when I was a young man, yeah, mirrors never used to be on wardrobes. Yeah, when I was a little youth, and some of you know this too, yeah, yes, mirrors never used to be on the outside of the wardrobe. They used to be on the inside, or you got them on a stand, which they spin over. That was it. Or it turns around. They used to make mirrors that turn around. Why did they do this? Because they knew that a mirror is a porthole. But now they put them on the wardrobe doors. They put sometimes you get wardrobe with beer mirror. Brethren, that's not even, that's a dance hall you got right there. You understand? You know what I mean? You might as well have a stage show and leave the door wide open, right? I'm just telling you this, not to be afraid, but just try it for yourself. Some people it will affect, and some people it won't affect. I'm not saying it affects all of you. I'm not saying that run, go cover your mirror quickly because some dope you go run out and this and that. I'm just saying, try it. Cover your mirror before you go to sleep. And see if there's a difference for yourself. If there is a difference, then you need to really start thinking then go on. Because if you're traveling back in your body when you're sleeping and there's a mirror there, there's a porthole there. So it's when your spirit goes through the mirror, you don't know what go on. I'm just giving you something to think about, not to be frightened about. And it might sound like foolishness to you, but even when you look at this little thing, mirror on the wall. Yeah, that's right, Why is this witch in the cartoon talking to the mirror? And it's not even a cartoon, sometimes it's a film. The mirror, if movies tell you that mirrors are porthole, and most movies with mirrors in them, what do they use the mirrors for? Communication to the other side. Right? So, not saying all mirrors are like that, but I'm just saying, just check your one. And you mustn't use other people's mirror, like get mirror from somebody and keep it in your yard. Oh, she got dash out that mirror, make me take that mirror. No, never put somebody else's mirror up in your house. Yeah, if somebody give you a mirror, give it back to them, or you get rid of it, or sometimes you can throw them in a river. You understand? That's what you should do with certain mirrors as well. You don't just take them and brock them. People can brock them, or you can throw them in a river. Yeah, and when you throw it in the river, it will land on the water, and then you just throw the brick and brock it while it's on the water. You know what I mean? You can do it that way. But I'm just saying, try it to see if it helps you sleep better. Try it to see if it eases the pain. You could have back pain and don't realize your back is facing the mirror. Yeah, you can have head pains and don't realize your head is facing the mirror. When you sleep, your head's supposed to be facing the east when you sleep.
I think with the sleep, like I said, with the sleeping, I think your body naturally tells you where it prefers to face anyway. That's one thing I know. I've always realised that my body tells me where it wants to face.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know that if I lay this certain way, my body doesn't feel comfortable that way. If I lay that way, it doesn't feel, and when I position myself, and that's it, that's when I'm totally comfortable. It's like my body tells me exactly where, you know, it wants to face, where my bed should lie. It's always been like that. I've always had that.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I just it's just common sense. Common sense. You sleep facing the east. Your head facing the east. That is it. You know what I mean? Where the sun rises, that's where your head's supposed to be. If you don't know where the east is. Yeah. So when the sun come up, the sun's supposed to rise above your head. And it's also, if you look at the a lot of the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, carvings, you will see that the sun is always above their head. You know what I mean? And the pineal gland, when the Horus, is it Horus? Yeah, with the pineal gland, the sun shining on his forehead. Yeah, it just shows you no matter what happened, the sun has to shine on your head. Yeah, and the best time for it to shine on your head is when it rises. Yeah, so just something for you to think about. Do your research. Obviously, when we say what we say on here, don't just take it for Google. Just go do your own research about mirrors and what they do with them, because you don't know which Natalie one friend will come through your mirror when you're sleeping and take away your dream and all these things. You know what I mean? So, in saying that, that's all. Yeah, just something to start your day and make it. And so don't put mirror near the door. Throw open your front door directly in line with your front door. Try not to have mirrors in your bedrooms. If you do, put it inside your wardrobe. Yeah, I'll cover it. If you cover it and nothing don't change, then you don't have to cover it. I'm not saying it affects everybody. You have some strong people that them thing they don't bother them, and you have some people that it does. But I was just saying, check it out and see if it helps you. All right. So that was the little thing. I can tell you more about mirrors and gateways and.
It is an interesting piece of information because I remember I was watching this film called Fried Green Tomatoes, and it's the first time I saw
what?
Fried Green Tomatoes.
About food.
No, it wasn't really about food as such. What it was down deep in the south, and it was about they weren't even sisters or anything, but they were really good friends. These two women, and they're like best friends, and they ran this little cafe and stuff like that, and they made like ribs and fried green tomatoes, and just had a nice little cafe, but they weren't known for their ribs and their fried green tomatoes. One of the friends was getting really, really abused by the husband, and abused so badly that in the end he ended up killing her basically. And I remember,
he ended up killing her.
Yeah, he ended up killing her from all the abuse because she wouldn't leave. You know what I mean?
Nothing to do with the fried potatoes, though.
No, but I'm gonna get to that point. That's part of it, but this is the most important part of it. And what they did when she died, they covered all the mirrors in the room. And I didn't understand why. And I was young when I watched that film. It's only as I was growing up I started to hear about these mirrors and being portals and all the rest of it. But that was the first thing that sparked my interest, or you understand what I'm saying about mirrors and stuff. So yeah, and then as I was growing up, I understood about mirrors and things like that, etc. But anyway, what happened to that husband? They cooked him, innit? They cooked his ribs. They cooked him. They did, and the police had an idea that the best friend, had killed him and cooked him. Not killed him, but they didn't know he had an idea that they killed him. You understand? And he kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And
I mean, how's he coming back if they kill him?
No, not the police officer. So the police officer had an idea that the friend had killed.
Oh, so he kept coming back.
So he kept coming back. So what they did, right, to get rid of the evidence of the dead husband's body, they cooked the dead husband's ribs, and basically chopped him up and started cooking. They cooked the ribs, and did everything and fed the police officer the ribs of the dead man in it. So he's looking for the dead man, not realising he's been eating the dead man all this time.
Sound like McDonald's to me.
It was a good film. Listen to it. It was a very, 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 very good film. That's why I mentioned for the mirrors part of it, because it really struck me. But that film had me really thinking. It was a good film. Good film.
Okay, so there is things like that. There is some things. There's some cults out there that actually eat people while they're alive. Yeah. Some past knowledge of that, which some of you are not aware of, some of the things that you are involved in. That's why when you give yourself to a faith or a religious movement of any kind, it's always good to check the root of where it come from, because along the journey a lot of negative things has happened in most people's faith walk history, the history of it, and they pay no mind to. It's all right, that was then, brethren. I don't care if it was then. They've done some wicked things. You know what I mean? So why I'm saying that is because there is one of the faiths them, one of the movements them out there that one of the people them got caught with children. Okay, yeah. Locked up in the basement. Her own children, you know, right? And what she did, she used to invite people around for dinner who are part of the movement, yeah. And what they used to do, they used to slice off piece of the youth them and cook it while the youth them is alive, but they keep them alive, because it's food. But if they kill the youth them, they're gonna rotten. So the food. Right. So the mother used to go and do these things and carve off piece of the youth them and give to the people them of the thing to eat, right? This movement thing is still going on today, right? And no one don't know that is part of their history, yeah? So I'm not going to expose them because some of them may be listening. Actually, I know some of them are listening, right? So I'm not gonna spoil your thing, but when you check the root of whatever you're dealing with, you'll see that
Cannibalism.
yeah, there's something in there what's going on which you don't really realize. So I'm just showing you in that particular movement, the woman used to eat her children. Her and the leaders of the youth movement used to eat the children until the neighbors saw it come up on a CCTV because she had cameras in there watching the youth. But it came up next door because they got wireless camera thing too. So one day it came up on their camera, and that's how they found out that the children was there. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to show you some of these religious movement, spiritual, whatever you want to call them. You need to know.
You know what? They're bright and faced for even calling it spiritual or even religious, because it's not. It's your foolishness. Let's call it by what it is. It's your nonsense that you want to carry on with, but want to give it this name.
No, but they don't know. They don't know. It's just like Christianity. When people first got into Christianity, they don't know the history of it. They don't acknowledge how much people was killed and burnt to the stake, how much people was put into slavery because of Christianity as well. You understand? There's so much things that it's involved in that when you look at it, I'm saying like, yo, boy. But the only reason why man still hold up certain things pertaining to that is because his history goes further back than what we've been given. We've been given the end part, the mix-up part, the diluted part. But if you go before then, it wasn't like that. These things never happened. And even if you look in the Quran, when Muhammad had to go to Ethiopia, more or less, and they saved him, because if it wasn't for Ethiopia, there would not be no Islam. Because the man, they would have slew Muhammad, and there would not be no Islam. So where he went to is closer to the food chain, because they saved his ass. So that is before the Bible and all that was written. So when you're looking at all of these things, sometimes it's always good to go to the beginning of whatever you believe in and put yourself in to know where it's actually coming from. And I can't sugarcoat this thing. I can't sugarcoat people burning people to the stake because of their belief. You know what I mean? And certain little things, Tyndale and all these man them got burnt to the stake.
But that's out of ignorance, though.
Out of ignorance? No, it wasn't out of ignorance they got burnt. They got burnt because they were speaking the truth.
No, not the people got burnt because they were ignorant. I'm talking the people that was doing the burning was burning out of ignorance.
Nah, they wasn't burning out of ignorance. They were burning them because they did not want the people to think for themselves. You understand? So when a one come and turn and say, yo people, you know you got a brain and you can think for yourself. Do you know there's a whole heap of herbs out there that can cure you from sickness, from anything? But you go and dig up those herbs and start boil them up. They say you're a witch.
Yeah, I hear that.
You understand? And they spun you on the stake. And who is doing this? All right. So, by their fruits you shall know them. I never said it. The Bible tells me so. And them fruits rotten. Yeah, so by their fruits. So when we go into this thing, we have to, that gap there, we have to kind of push it aside and go over it and go before it. You understand? And deal with the original. It's the closest to the original that you can get in your faith walk. You know what I mean? And that's it. So I'm not saying that's where your Bible or anything like that. I'm just saying just go closer to the root of your belief system that you are upholding right now. Try and go deeper into it. You know what I mean? Anyway, that was it. Yeah, okay, right. So now we are going to talk about my brethren and my sisters. No, you're going to talk about it because this is your thing. You got one big book there.
Before we talk about it,
let me see if you take it from the library.
Yeah, no, I bought that. Thank you.
I knew it, you know.
I bought it.
You bought it?
Yeah.
You bought it?
Fraser Public Library. I bought it from where? Michigan, Fraser, wherever that is in America somewhere.
Why do they always put these things in the library? And not our library anyway. Anyway, this is a good book, you know. I like the way
it is.
the
I bought that for the
big.
children. It's for the children. That's why I bought it.
Oh, I like this.
So that they, you know, they can see. They have to be straining their eyes to read it. And it's all in nice colours and it's, you know, makes it interesting for them.
That's good. Anyway, you gone Tell us about
before
this.
we talk about our great black heroes, the number to call is 079 444 31366. Please call in, text in, interact, tell us about any other inventors you know about. Teach us. We're not just here to do the talking. You can come and you can teach us too. Thank you. The number to call again is 079 444 31366. Right, and this is the Pearls of Wisdom show, and I'm your host, Lady Pearls, and this is Brother Bless.
All
so
right.
let's be on with it now. So there's this book. I purchased it from, can I say? From, well, because they need to know, Amazon.
Amazon?
Yes, it was. I purchased it from Amazon.
Oh, you bought a second-hand book from Amazon?
Not second-hand, it's new.
This is new?
Yes.
How can it be?
It's new.
I've never seen this.
Yeah.
Deselected. That means they took this off the shelf.
Wherever, it's still got the info of our brothers.
No, because it's interesting to know how they're selling the books then. You know what I mean? It's interesting to know that's what they're doing. So Amazon is selling library books.
Which is good though.
Yeah.
Which is good. Because you know why it's good? And people, please listen to me when I say this, yeah? You need to start buying books. Start buying all the books about your black history, because what's going to start happening, you're going to realize they're going to start getting rid of our books. Yeah? They may be on internet now, but there's going to come a time when you can't even get that information on the net. But from you've got your hard copy, your book, you'll be fine. There's your history right there. You keep your history in hard copy, just like you would back up your anything on your USB stick or your whatever, you know, them, what's they called, discs and all those things. You got to keep your hard copy, which is your hard drive, which is your book. Yeah, whether it's the hardback book or it's just a normal floppy whatever however, you've got to make sure you buy your books as much as I've got. When I say my house is full of books, I've got books in my shed, I've got books all over the place. I try to buy, and as soon as I see books that has our black history in them, I buy them. Those are like food to me, and I want them for my children as well, because they need to know their history. So please, sometimes they don't even cost that much neither. Buy your books and keep your books. Yes, they may take up a bit of space, but you know something, you're gonna be glad that you did do that, because when these books start going missing from off net and wherever, you're gonna regret it. I'm telling you, you really will. Anyway, so this book I bought from Amazon because, you know, I would like to teach my own children. I want to teach my own children, and I do teach my own children about themselves and their history and etc. In schools, they do not really tell you about these inventors, because they do not want our children to know that they are inventors, they are scientists, they are doctors, you know, they are the naturalists, herbalists, and all. They don't want our children to know these things. They would prefer our children to believe that it is just, you know, the white people who are the ones that are the inventors and etc. and etc. So we always look up to them as the ones that are our healers, or our, you understand what I'm saying, you know, source of life, or whatever the case may be. But so I bought this book, and it's by Wade Hudson, and the book is called 5 Notable Inventors. So I started them off with 5 notable inventors, and by looking at it, it says hello reader. It's got levels, so this is like different levels that they've got here. So if you go on Amazon, I'm sure you will see the different levels, and I'm sure that they did it for the reading purposes, you know, of the levels. So and then in the book as well, which is really good, it also tells you how to read the book with your child, you know, and, you know, listening to your child, you know, read, ask for words, ask them the words, so it helps them to, you get what I'm saying, it gives, there's a system of how the children can retain the information about these inventors, you know, what they're reading about, and that practice there will also help them to retain the information of any other book or books that they read as well. So it's a really good book to have. So like I said, the 5 Notable Inventors by Wayne Hudson, And right, so the first inventor is a man called Jan Ernest Matzil. How do you spell that? Matzilliger. Yeah, Zilliger. And he made shoes to last. He was born in 1852 and died in 1889. So you know, it's like a story. It's read like a story. So this one says, there was once a time when most people could not buy shoes. Shoes were expensive because it took a long time to make each pair. Because back then they made leather shoes, good leather shoes. So if they said Jan Ernest Matzillier, changed that. He invented a machine that made shoes quickly and cheaply. It says Jan was born September 15th, 1852 in South America. His father was white and his mother was black. He was a boy. Right, of course he was a boy.
Of course he was a boy.
Of course he was a boy.
Right, you don't know. You don't
yeah,
know
we don't know his boy, yeah. And his father, he worked in his father's shop. So it says in the shop, workers made metal tools, ornaments and containers. Jan learned how to use the lathe machine that cut and shaped the metal. So during his free time, he would go to the rivers and watch the ships and would dream about, you know, saying. So in those times, he more than likely did see a bit of slavery going on then as well, though, innit? Wouldn't he? Okay, so that's kind of interesting, that is actually. Anyway, he became a seaman. Yeah, seaman. So he travelled on the ships and all the rest of it to the Far East. 2 years later,
I tell you know,
he landed in the United States, city of Philadelphia, and he found a job as a machine operator. So it said that, but every machine shop he went to, no, he tried to find a job, exactly. So every shop he went to, he was turned away. Slavery had ended 10 years before Jan had arrived in the United States, but many whites still did not respect blacks. They did not want to hire blacks for factory jobs. So, but he kept looking. And then he was finally hired as a shoemaker. So he learned to operate the Mackay machine. It sewed leather together to make the soles of shoes. Yeah, so but he wanted to learn more about shoemaking. So in 1877, he moved to Massachusetts, to a city called the shoe industry capital of the world. So that was Massachusetts, which was the shoe industry of the capital of the world. It says most of the people there worked for shoe companies. So he was hired at the Harney Brothers factory. So anyway, it says here he liked different types of machine.
what was his name?
Jan.
No, the guy who made the shoemaker guy.
The shoemaker guy. But the Harney Brothers
Oh, the Harney
factory.
Brothers.
Harney. Yeah, Harney Brothers factory. So he learned about the different machines, cut and sewed upper parts of shoes, attached the upper parts of the shoes to the soles. He made buttonholes for the shoes. And, you know, hang on a second, let me make sure I'm not missing out a page. Right. So he said the hardest part of making the shoes was connecting the upper part to the inner sole. This step is called lasting. It had been done by hand. The leather had to be stretched over a wooden model of a foot called a last. Then the finished shape had to be tacked into place onto the sole, which when you really do look at how shoemakers make the thing, it is kind of, when you have you seen it for yourself, how they stretch it over that piece of metal. It's really interesting, because I want to make shoes myself, so that's why I watched it, because I said one day I'm going to have my own shoe line. It says there was no machine
Better hurry up,
to do. I will, don't worry, it's all in the making.
By the time you're done, people start wear shoes.
It's alright, then we will wear my shoes.
Okay.
Because my shoes will last.
All right.
like when the children of Israel was in the desert, their shoes last, and my shoes will last.
Because they're walking on sand.
Yeah,
they're walking on concrete.
You
know what I mean?
It says there was no machine to do this important job. So Jan decided to invent such a machine. People laughed. You hear that? People laughed. So anytime you come up with a good idea, people laugh.
Tell me about it. And
Yeah.
some of you, sorry to stop you there, but some of you come up with some ideas, you know, and you have people that laugh. You say, boy, what kind of madness you talk about? But you know
Exactly.
what? If you sat down and 50 years ago said, boy, go up on the moon now, see what I go on. Although they never reached there yet, you know. Don't get it twisted, you know. Them never go up there,
They
you
ain't
know.
gone up there, no way,
Right?
yeah.
But they go on like them go up there. You understand what I'm saying? But even to the top of the mountain, said, boy, I could climb up that mountain. They said, boy, that's a mad thing. You know what I mean? But eventually, you know what I mean, somebody goes and climb up there. You know what I mean? But sometimes we suggest some things that sound impossible. You know what I mean? Like even look what we're using now. The mobile phone.
That's right. Yeah.
If it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, even the 90s, said, boy, I can make a phone where I can see you, you know, and you can see me, you know. And you know what? And I'm not going to go into that because they're going to tell me, you don't know some of the things that we contribute to as black people without realizing. You see, like the 0800 number, we was the first one to have an 0800 number on a mobile phone. Yeah, we had the 0800 number from 2002. On a mobile phone. On a mobile phone, you can phone on an 0800 number and it will answer on your mobile phone. We had also had a system where you can change your phone number to any number you want.
Yeah, there
Remember
was
that?
that.
I don't know if you remember that.
Because I chose my numbers. Yeah, I could. I chose my numbers.
What number you got now?
Not this one. Years back, a few years back, I chose my numbers.
Yeah, you can actually design your own number and put it in your phone. But then they realize they can't. You know, you're picking some good numbers. But these are the things that we used to do back in the day. And now, obviously, when a man say or a woman say they're gonna do something that sounds strange, it might sound strange now. But in a few years' time, it won't be strange. It almost would be the normal thing. Look, you know, you can look at the technology now, computer and everything, and satellite and sky and all these things. 20 years ago, people would think, say, you're mad to even think about making something like that. You know what I mean? Now they're doing, what do they call it? What that thing called? I don't know what it called. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway.
What CERN? Not CERN. Which one?
Not CERN. CERN is another thing. You know what I mean? CERN is just something that some desperate people make to beg for help from the wrong place.
Yeah.
You understand? So when your back's against the wall, you know, you will cling pan straw. You understand? And that's what basically happened. The man them cling pan straw and open the door. And know they can't close the door. You understand? But two of them desperate, them got to open the door.
And a big one like that.
Yeah, well, that's what happened when people are desperate. Yeah. They go and open doors that they shouldn't open, because they're panicking. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? You know what? Look, we go up there and get some help. You understand? And they get the help all right, but now they are a slave to the thing that they designed. So be careful that you don't become a slave to what you are doing, because whatever you're doing is supposed to work for you, and you're not supposed to work too hard for it. For example, a man can go out there and buy a car. You can buy a little Ford car, cheap on petrol, or you can go and buy a Mercedes convertible Rolls Royce. But either way, once you got the car, you don't realize, oh gosh, the insurance is this, the tax is this, the parts is this, the this is, and you never realize what you got yourself into when you bought the car. But now you can't sell it, so you have to keep it and you have to maintain it, and it's costing you a bag of money in parts. Now you become the slave.
That's right.
Without realizing you are serving your car, and some of us are serving things that we purchase or that we've designed or built. Now we know become the servant to the thing when the thing's supposed to be working for we.
That's right.
So when you buy your pretty car, remember that pretty car costs a whole heap of pretty money to fix it up pretty. You buy it.
And who you pretty in it for? Because some people don't buy it to show off on people. Yeah,
but it's just the same. Just saying that when you build something or make something or buy something, make sure you can maintain it. My mama said, "No bother hang your hat where you can't reach it."
That's right.
And that's what they mean. Don't bother hang up your hat where you can't reach it. And some people buy things that they cannot maintain.
That's right.
Some people go out there and say, "I want a house. Hey, darling, let's go and buy a house. Oh, let's mortgage a house. Oh, you're working, I'm working. Let's go mortgage a house." No, then go mortgage. Go take out a mortgage. Next thing you know, one of them lose them job. They can't afford the mortgage. Boom, now them have a problem. I'm not saying that they set their heights too high, but you didn't plan in advance. What will happen if you fall.
Yeah.
So that's my little story. Go on, true though.
Anyway,
me
said the people then did laugh after him when
after
they heard after Jan.
Why?
Because he said he's going to build this machine that will take out all that labor from stretching the lever and nailing it and etc. So he, and trying to stretch it over this metal foot and etc. and etc. So he said he's going to make a machine that will make it easier to do this thing here. So it says Jan was trying to make a machine that could last shoes. So the last is that method of stretching the leather over the metal model of a foot. Yeah, and then you nailing it to like.
Yeah, I remember that. My dad had one of them.
Yeah, because I remember my dad had one.
Some big thing with 4 foots on them, and you put the shoes on it, and you can stretch.
And you can stretch the shoes. Yeah, cobblers. That's right. That's exactly. Yeah.
Cobblers thing.
Yeah. So it said other workers had tried and failed, but that's their business. If they tried and failed, doesn't mean that I'm going to try and I'm going to fail. So that's another thing to watch. If somebody's tried something and they've failed, and they turn and said, "Yeah, I've tried it. Don't it's not going to work." Please don't listen to them. Because you're not them, they ain't you. So you continue on with your vision and your passion of whatever it is you say you're going to do. You will make it.
Every time you fail, you're one step closer to success.
One step closer. You know what I like about Richard Branson? Richard Branson tells his staff, you must fail. You must make mistakes, because in your failing and in your mistakes, that's when you're going to get it right the next time.
Yeah, because you remember what not to do.
That's right. What not to do. Yeah.
That's the
so
thing.
Please, my advice may sound silly, but make sure you fail as much as possible and make
mistakes. No.
Yes, because then...
No, don't fail as much as possible.
No, when I said don't go out to fail, but if you do fail, that's what I mean. Let me reword it. If you do fail...
Yeah.
And you make your mistakes, no matter how much times you failed or make your mistakes, do not beat yourself up about it. Please learn from it. So let me rephrase that. So excuse me, don't fail as much as possible. But if you do fail, and if you do make your mistakes, no matter how many times, as long as you are learning from it, so that the next time you do better, it's all good. Do not beat up yourself about it. Don't condemn yourself. Just know that next time you will do it differently, if you really and truly want to, because sometimes we do have some hard-headed people that will continue to make the same mistakes over and over again, even though they know even though they know this thing's not going to work. They know it's not going to work, but they still do the same thing, hoping for a different outcome. But if you do make your mistakes and if you do fail, pick yourself back up. Don't be hard on yourself. Learn from it and move on.
All right.
Yes. So please don't beat me for what Miss Emily. I rephrased it. Anyway, it says no one can make that. They said that because they failed. They said no one can make that kind of machine. That's what they thought. Nobody could make it because they failed. Yeah. So they made awful jokes about him. So you're going to get the persecution. You're going to get the naysayers. You're going to get all of those negative people that will tell you that you can't do it. It will never happen, etc. And you've got to be strong enough within yourself and resilient enough within yourself to know you will, and that you can block out these people's naysaying. Yeah. So anyway, it said by the fall of 1880, so from 1870, from not even 1877, from 1873, when he'd landed in Philadelphia, he had been trying to do this, get a job and make this machine. So by 1880, by 1880, right, he had made a model of, he said Jan had made a model of his machine from a cigarette box. He was sure that once his model was made into a real machine, it would work. Another inventor who was working on the same idea offered Jan £50 for that little model. Now imagine that little model, that man wanted £50 for it. Yeah. So that means even your little idea in a model can be valuable to somebody else who, you understand, what can see your idea. You may not can see your idea in fruition, but somebody else will come along and think, you know what, I can use that, because I can see how I can make my thing better. You not knowing, not being confident within yourself and your product, you'd think, you know what, no, you can take it, man, because I can't. It's not working for me, and you would have sold out the whole of your.
Some of us do that. Yeah. Some of us sell out our business because you end up going to somebody asking for advice, and they go, so what your business plan? Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
And they sell your business
and they
plan.
take where your business plan. They take
your
it.
business plan. They got some, right, when we was registering Bless, for example, a long time ago, we was gonna sort out some business and thing. And we said that we got an idea, we want to start a product, a company. So we went to these people and they said, so what's the name of your company and what do you have in mind? So we go, the way the guys then was going on, you know what I mean? We said, something said like, ease off a bit. So we said the company's called Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they said, what Rabbit does? They said, well, the Rabbit does this, Rabbit does that, Rabbit does this. And we stopped. And they go, okay, then we'll look into it and see if we can patent that name. Who was going to patent the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we didn't, because we realized when you give them a name, they sell that name to other companies.
Yeah.
It's just like if you go to the internet and you want to search for a website and you want to check for a domain name, you type in a brilliant name, it's going to say it's been taken. But it hasn't been taken. They take that name and they sell it to bigger companies.
Yeah.
Now, when we came with the name Rabbit, Rabbit was a good name for a company, but at the time we never know. You know what I mean? Now you got Apple.
Yeah.
Imagine calling a company a pod Apple. You never would even think it would have launched so big.
Yeah.
Sometimes the simplest name that you call your business works for you, but when you're gonna call it some big ass name that people can't spell, or people don't know what it means.
That's right.
You know.
Yeah. Just keep it simple, nice and simple, with the meaning, with a nice meaning.
With the meaning.
Yeah.
And you said certain little things about in the film that you watched.
Yeah.
What was the name of the film?
Fried green tomatoes.
Right. Now, don't let these people fool you. I'm just show you something. There is some good information out there. There's some good books and there's some good films out there. But the names of the film will put you off.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got a film called The Men That Stares at Goats. Would you watch that film?
I'd be curious to find out why they stare at goats. So I think I would watch it because I want to know
but
why.
if that would be. But I mean, if you saw a list of film, that would be not.
No,
something,
it wouldn't be. No,
it wouldn't be something that you watch. Yeah, but then when you watch the film is showing you about people that is doing some things. Remote viewing. Yeah, the film's talking of the cover. You got a man and a goat. You wouldn't watch that film, but when you watch the film, it's about the guy in the army who started this remote viewing thing, and he trained people how to remote view. The goat is the only time the goat was in the film is when the man was sitting down looking at the goat. The name of the object of the film was the man has got to make that goat fall to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's called The Men That Look at Goat, but they were doing some things. So I'm just trying to show you the name of something doesn't mean it ain't gonna be successful.
That's right.
So when you're starting a company, don't go for Mary this that blah blah jewelry concession of the boom boom wow wow. You understand? None of that, brethren. Just call it Rabbit. You know what I mean? Look at this water now. I'm not even gonna say the name of the water. It's just a simple name, but it's a very good water. You understand? Right. So
yeah.
I've got a nice list there for you, which we're going to read out.
That is a good one there. So, so the guy wanted to buy Jan's idea basically for £50.
Jan's the man.
And Jan's the man that had the idea in the first place, that made the model. Jan is the one that's going to make this machine, to help make the shoes quicker. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the one that was laughed at. This other inventor who was working on the same idea as Jan wanted to buy that little model off of Jan for £50. So it said $50 was a lot of money in those days, and Jan was very poor, but he said no. You see, this book is very, very, it's a little book, but you know what? As you read every single line, you come across something. He said no. He was very poor. But even though he was poor,
he believed in his dream.
He believed in his dreams, and he was not going to sell out his dream for no food. And many of us, with our licky hungry belly self, will think, you know what? Let me sell my birthright,
or sell your mother whole son.
You understand? For
money.
And the thing about it is, the money is only temporary this temporary thing, because £50 you would have got £50. What would you have done with the £50? It would have been gone. But then if you'd continue to believe in yourself and you built that machine, that money will continue on and on to generations and generations, because your children will come, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and so on and so forth would have been able to benefit from that.
They
and
benefit
carry on.
from it, and this is what Europeans do. They don't sell you things. They hand it down to their children, their children, and now they end up with corporations because they don't sell you nothing.
No,
they hand it down.
They hand it down, and this is the thing. So this is a good lesson to be teaching our children. You understand what I'm saying? Learn for all your belly. That's why when our parents used to say, when you go out a road, when you go to people's house, don't even open up your mouth and say nothing but you're hungry. Yeah, you keep your mouth closed. And we could have gone and you know when sometimes your parents go to people's house and they visit, and the visit's supposed to only be maybe half an hour. They're there for whole hours talking about all kinds of things. And you're hungry. You're so hungry.
Yeah, and you want to say something.
And you want to say something. You want to ask for a little water. You want to ask for something. You dare ask for it. Ask for it. You know what's going to happen to you.
You're going to get a beating when you get out.
So you got to learn to hold your belly. And this is the things that I try to teach my children. Hold your belly, because you know something. Your belly can get you into trouble, you know. Your appetites can get you into trouble.
Right. That's a good saying there. And I'll tell you why. I should have listened to my mother still. One time, me and my dad went out. I was young still. We brought him to this house and everybody was there. People them was there. And I know I'm not supposed to eat out a road. But then the woman come in and says, oh, would you like something to eat? Because I was the only youth there and there was bare man them. And I said, Sham, I can eat something. You see when I eat that thing there,
God.
I get poison. I got poison from the woman. I don't know if she deliberately poisoned me, but all I know, when I left that place there, my stomach, I was sick for days. You know what I mean? But if I did listen to what Mummy said, I wouldn't eat people's food. You understand? And it's not because they don't want you to eat. It's because you don't know who are going to poison you.
That's right. But they also knew that as well.
They knew that as well.
Yeah, they knew that as well. You just don't know. You understand? And then it was like an embarrassment for them. You're there going people out and asking for food, like you never get fed at your own house.
I know a girl that, a story similar to where there's a woman and she's married to a guy and the guy was a player. So all type of people who like to play around, this is for you. Yeah, the guy was a player. So what I'm knowing, I'm dealing with one girl now and the girl say, yo, she want to run things. So what she done, she sent a gift to the man, girlfriend, wife, baby mother, of a hat.
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah, he sent the gift of the hat, sent it to the woman now. The woman see the hat on the box and she put it on the bed. What happened now? The youth come running and take up the hat.
Oh God, not put on the hat.
And put on the hat. Little girl come running and put on the hat. You see, from the time she put on the hat,
not the same.
Boom.
Yeah.
Never the same again. You know what I'm saying? Never the same. She just kind of had some kind of stroke thing, and she never recovered from it. So when we're taking things from people, we have to be aware of these things. Now it's slightly different, but them time there, especially if you're a player and them thing there, and you think say the missus now got trouble your missus, don't get it twisted. You know
it will happen. But listen to me. I've had something similar try to happen to me. Try to happen to me, but I give you a praise that I'm a spiritual person. You understand what I'm saying? I'm connected to my Father and I was protected. You understand what I'm saying? Because it was for me and my children. This hat was this special hat that belonged to somebody. Yeah. They came to stay for the New Year's, to see in the New Year's. And I don't know, they was leaving, so New Year's came and went and everything, so they was leaving the following day after New Year's to go back to their home. And something just said, when they was going through the door, I just heard the Spirit say to me, look underneath the pillow. In my children, they had a bunk bed, yeah? Look underneath the pillow. And I looked underneath the pillow and I saw this hat. Ugly looking hat. Going thinking, what kind of hat is this? So I thought, all right, then let me just put the hat aside. You understand what I'm saying? But something was bothering me about this hat. And I was led to a scripture which said, the the scripture says that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Every tongue that rises up against me in judgment, I shall condemn. Yeah? This thing was bothering me. And I was going to church at the time, and a lady there, I said, I brought the hat to the lady, and we prayed about this hat, and she said, you know something? The Spirit told her, if any one of my children had put that hat on, my children would have gone mad. Yeah, I knew who the hat belonged to. Yeah, and this person had been trying for a very long time to do me harm. A long time.
So why you never give them back the hat?
I did. I did. So what I did, right, when we go to church, those of you who've gone to church, we believe in anointing. Yeah, olive oil. You anoint something with olive oil. Yeah. So what I did, I printed out that same scripture. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I anointed that hat. I put that scripture in the hat, and I. So what the person did, they called me and said, "Oh, I left my hat, and I need my hat. It's a very special hat. I need back that hat. Please don't tell me say you throw away the hat. I need it." And the way how it was going on about they need the hat, because the hat is a special hat. Same woman. It's a special hat.
So if she needed the hat, why she leave it in your yard?
Because it was meant to do a job.
Okay.
That was not done. So when I said, "Oh, I got the hat," I didn't let her know. I didn't let her know what was revealed to me. I just put that scripture in there. I anointed the hat. I posted it. Do you know she even phoned me and said thank you for that? I got the hat. Thank you, because I know she knew that she failed, but she tried it twice, because the same thing. There was a scarf that was left. Yeah. And it belonged to a relative of mine's, and it was over my bedroom door. I love scarves. And because it was my relative, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, scarf and and whatever. Again, I heard the Spirit say to me, don't put that scarf around your neck. But I'm there thinking, but it's a scarf, why not? If you put that scarf around your neck, it's going to turn into a snake and choke you. Twice, this person tried to do me and my children harm. Twice. Yeah, so you have to really be careful. I don't know why we've gone down that road, but anyway, yeah, just be careful. Just be careful anyway. But like I said, we go back to Jan. Yeah, so like I said, this man, Jan, never sold out. He never sold his vision. He never sold it. He held his belly and he said no, because he had a vision. Yeah, he saw the bigger picture. He didn't just see now, eat now, and it passes out into the toilet and that's it. You understand what I'm saying? Get nigger right is fall asleep. He saw a bigger picture. Yeah. So he said that Jan needed to use a forge and a lathe machine to make his invention from metal. So okay, he rented it. Okay, we get back to that part because there's a little bit of information there. So the forge, right, it says to make a metal from the metal. A forge is a furnace where metal is heated. Then the metal is hammered and bent into shape on the lathe machine. The Harney brothers didn't have either machine, so Jan went to work for Beale company. This company let him use their forge and lathe. So by 1882, Jan had made a model out of scrap metal. It lasted shoes perfectly. Jan had done what others had said was impossible. Jan knew, however, that this machine made from scrap metal could not work for long before falling apart. He would have to make a machine with new metal parts. So once again, another inventor offered to buy Jan's invention. This time, Jan was offered 1,500. Again, he said no, because he knew the value of his product. He knew what the value was. So again, 1,500 in those days? No, he said no again. It says 2 businessmen gave Jan the money he needed to make his new machine. In return, they will receive 2/3 of any money that Jan might make. The three men formed the Union Lasting Machine Company. On March 20th, 1883, Jan was given a patent from the United States government for his new lasting machine. The patent is a special certificate. It gives the inventor the right to be the only one to make and sell an important invention. Jan's invention would last from 300 to 700 pairs of shoes in 10-hour workday. In a 10-hour workday. And that's really quite good, actually, you know. 300 to 700 pairs of shoes in a 10-hour workday.
That's a lot of shoes. Don't read it all, though, because I want you to get back to that book, though.
Yeah, I'll bring it back, because this is just one story. There's lots of different...
No, I want you to finish that story, but before you finish that story, we've got some inventors, because today's show is talking about black inventors.
Yeah, so
right?
Go on.
We're giving you a story of some black things. You got some black inventors on your phone?
No, I was just
right. Well, let me show you some people now who's doing some black inventing. Right. Well, first of all, there's certain games, there's certain things that is definitely being designed by African people, which is paper. The game chess is an African game. Yeah. When you're looking at the names, the things that I'm telling you, you have to think about who now controls these things, or who's taking the monopoly of these things that our people has invented. Now, I can give you the names of them, but I'm not going to give you the names of them. All right. The coin changer, the thing where you put the coins in and it gives you back all the change in this. A black man made that. What's his name? James Boa. James A. Boa. Boa. The letterbox, you know, the post box. No, the letterbox on the door. Yeah, the black man made that. The home. Yeah, was it G. Beckett? Yeah, well, the name is the name, but I'm just saying, if I say the name ain't gonna really mean nothing to you. More the invention will mean something to you than the name. But then they can look up. But you can look up the name afterwards. Yeah. Now, this is something that my dad told me about. Home security system was invented by a woman called Marie Brown. Yeah, that's my niece's name. Right. That's so my name too. Yeah. So she invented the home security system. Right. Now I'm gonna tell you a story that my father told me. My father told me that there's a woman that he knows, not that he knows, but he told me the story of a woman that made the first security system. Yeah, back in the day, because people used to keep coming in her yard. So what she did, she had a guy that she tried to keep out of her house, and him named Bob. But Bob keep on a come. Okay. Right, so she can't get rid of Bob. So what she do? She make some wire and put all around the house, on the wall, everything, with some nail in it and everything. No, Bob can't come over the wall. That's right. He can't come into the house no more. So this is how we get this thing called Bob wire. Yeah. Bob wire was designed to keep out this guy named Bob. Yeah. And there's a black woman met the thing. Hey, that's so funny. So when you say Bob wire, no, a Bob wire. Yeah, the Bob guy named Bob, and Bob would not stop coming at the yard, so she wire up the place to keep Bob out, and she named the wire after Bob. The people them, you know, always there. You know your name and something after that's something. Right, of something, that's right, exactly. So if you find a man name or a name of somebody before the something, it's because of that somebody how it get the name. Right, so Bob wire was made by a black woman, and Mary Brown, she made the home security system. Wow. There's so much thing. The street sweeper, the thing that machine that sweep up the road. The black man make that. A pacemaker. Wow. A pacemaker. That thing that go budum budum budum. Actually doesn't go budum budum, it just gives you an electric shock if your heart kick out. Shocks you, right? That was invented by a black person. Who invented the pacemaker? Let me see who invented the pacemaker. Otis, a guy named Otis Boyking. He invented the pacemaker. He invented quite a lot of things, actually. Yeah. He invented the guided missile. Oh, wow. Yeah, a black guy. The missile that they fire and.
That's right.
It's a black man invented that.
To the end.
Yeah, so there's a film about the 3 women that invented the material that took the spacecraft, that took the rocket to space. Right? The first rocket that actually went into orbit in space, it was 3 black women that made it possible for America to have their first launch into space. Yeah, it was 3 black women. There's a film about it as well. Go and watch the film. Yeah, and you will realize how much influence we have on this planet. So in a way, if we was left to do our own thing, you know, if you just left us alone, we could do our own thing. If we invent something, left with it, we would have gone clear a long time.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's not that they left. You know what it is? When you read this story again, before we knew the value of it, they had the chance to steal it. You understand what I'm saying? And take it for themselves.
Yeah.
Because from when you read this book and you realise, you know, if Jan didn't know the value of his thing, and you realise some of them maybe did not know the value,
they
because they were hungry.
They knew, but they're hungry and there's money.
And they've sold, that's what I'm saying. And so these lot can come in now, know the value of it, take it and make it their own. Once you've sold it, it's no longer yours. You can't even open up your mouth and say, it's mine, or whatever the case may be. You sold it, it's not yours no more.
Yeah, because they know the value of it, and they know what it can do.
Yeah.
So this is when a person sell your soul, you know. You don't know how much your soul value. Your soul is priceless.
That's
and
right,
some people sell their soul for some things. Yeah. For
Temporary
material things.
Temporary
material
things.
Wealth, material gain, material power. You know what I mean? And spiritual power. Some of them sell their soul for these things and don't realize, just like these inventors, you know what I mean? They had a little thing, but some of them hold on to it because they knew the value of it.
Yeah.
But some of them choose, boy, I can take this money and get rich and live comfortable for the rest of my life. Or I can sell this thing, or keep this thing and struggle.
Yeah.
Keep the thing sometimes, you know what I mean? Because easy come, easy go. Right. So the lawnmower was invented by a black person, typewriter. You can help if you want to, you know.
No,
Don't make me do all the work, you know. You look like you're on holiday.
No, you're doing a good job. Go on. Go on with it, man.
You see that, people.
But I'm looking at it. And I will
you
pinpoint.
You can look at it. Right, you go on this side then, and I'll go on that side.
Go on that side,
right?
because
I'm
looking at.
You want me to read out the whole thing by myself?
No, you're not going to read out the whole thing.
Oh, thank you, because that's where it is. Right. So, right. You can just go up there, and I can go there, and we meet in the middle.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
The traffic signals.
Oh, you're gonna
over there, traffic signals.
Yeah, them red. You know, says a Rasta man must have invent the traffic light. All right, Ethiopian.
Jarrett Morgan.
Yeah, Jarrett Morgan invented the traffic lights. But what make him pick those colours? Cause you don't know. You see, when you see them colours, you know it's got something. You don't even have to know, say a black man met that. Every time you stop at, my European listeners, every time you stop at the traffic light, remember Rasta. Yeah? You can't run from it. And we will tell you when to stop, and we will tell you when to go. Yeah? Because it's at the traffic lights. Yeah, but just the colours alone makes you understand that it has to have something to do with us. Because when I was younger, the traffic lights used to be blue. Yeah. The traffic lights used to be blue and green. Yeah. They only had 2.
Okay. Blue and green.
Yeah. They never had this, you see this tree thing that they got now?
Yeah.
They never used to have that. It was just stop and go. I remember the traffic lights used to be blue. What are all those people who's been here that long that remember when the stoplight was blue? You understand what I'm saying? Because they didn't want to use the Rasta colour. Or the Ethiopian colour after Mussolini get her beaten. You understand? They had this blue thing, but it's originally red, yellow and green. Yeah. Right. So anyway, hopefully it's a red, yellow and green. So what you find now? I find street sweeper, typewriter, even the computer pad that you're typing on.
Yeah. All comes down from that.
Yeah. Who is that?
Burridge.
I don't know if it's a man or a woman.
Burridge and Marshman.
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 Right, so that's 2 man them, or 2 people. What else? Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Well, it's obviously this thing to do with food, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's George W. Carver. He made a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made a lot of things with peanut as well. He made oil.
Yeah.
He could run a car on peanut, your oil. But all these things, they shelved them. Automatic fishing reel. That's what you see on the back of the ships, them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black man.
But that thing there, blood plasma. That's really important, blood plasma.
Yeah, that's that guy there. But here one thing that is people don't realize. People, this is so obvious. Who invent lotion and soap? We did. That means before we invented it, they was not using it.
Yeah, but that's what they weren't. But you know what? It even goes back before where him name is George Carver,
W. Carver,
because it was the Moors who brought in all of those scents and soaps and taught
the
you understand
oils.
what I'm saying? Yeah, all the oils, and taught the I can't remember who it was they were engaging with at the time, taught them how to be cleanly and wash themselves. I'm sure it was more than likely taught them how to cleanse themselves and perfume up themselves, and
because in the Victorian times they never used to bathe.
They never bathed. They never brushed them teeth. They never did nothing.
So what?
You know what I mean?
This history, what is covered up here. You know what I mean? As I said, when you look at certain people and look at the history of certain people, and also they never. It was more or less illegal for them to bathe. Yeah, and there were some people that when they died, they had so much clothes on that it was stuck to their body. And when they took off all the clothes, underneath was all insects growing on them, and that's what really killed them. You know what I'm saying?
The disease.
So that's where now you got George W. Carver, him make soap lotion, lotion and soap. Horse riding saddle. Yeah, the black person made that. So who's controlling the horse riding thing now?
Now, that's right.
You understand? So when you look at the things that we have contributed to, and how these things that we have contributed to have just like rich people are controlling these things. When I say rich people, I mean we don't bother with horse saddle. Yeah, all these things what we named out just not so long ago, even the blood plasma thing. How come we not getting no recognition for these things?
No, sir.
All right.
We've got a refrigerator. Food.
Oh, the toilet.
Yeah,
the toilet commode. Yeah, that's the one, the flushing toilet. We invented that, and I can say that too because when we was younger, the toilet was outside actually.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
Toilet
outside.
used to be outside.
Or big old hole, When I was in Antigua, when I was in Antigua, it was like a piece of board with a hole in it, and a little something, the little pan thing, and you do whatever you're doing there till it full up and then come and then empty it and then gone.
Oh, so
or pit, or you
just the pit toilet,
or just in a hole and whatever.
So you've used to use the pit toilet.
Lord God, yes.
All right. Little. So for those young people, my young listeners, who don't know about pit toilet, you need to experience one of those things. That is an experience that you would treasure for the rest of your life.
Not with the lizards looking down at you.
No, don't tell them that part, man. I want them to experience it first. Now you're gonna put them off.
Yeah, because they need to know about the lizards that's gonna sit down there with you while you're there.
No, they're just the overseer, just to make sure you use the toilet paper. Yeah. Now the pit toilet is a good thing because. You know what I mean? When you actually I when I went Bubba Hill, that was an experience too. I used the pit toilet up there. They got two toilets up there, in our Kingston. They have two toilets. They have one for the regular people and they have one for the guests. The difference between the one for the regular people and the one for the guests, the one for the guests is still a pit toilet, but it have a toilet seat. Okay. Or you lift up.
Yeah.
The other one don't.
Don't have none.
No, it don't have that. So that was back then. Yeah, that was a few years ago. And when you go, when I went to experience the pit toilet, and I go in there, I said, "Wow, they have a real toilet," because I see a proper toilet seat. When I open the thing, I hear music. You know what I mean? Saying, I said, "I'm supposed to sit down on this."
Oh, gosh,
people.
that's funny.
And then when you want to flush it, because you're so used to flushing
Flush
it,
it, yeah.
when you look back, there's nothing. You know
no.
what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a woman dropped down there one time.
Oh no.
Oh yes, yes, people. I know my Jamaican people must have heard the story. One woman dropped down the pit
How's
toilet.
she dropping there?
I don't know. Maybe they
How?
never had a toilet seat, or maybe
Oh,
she must have tried to reach for something.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
no.
But this woman dropped down the pit toilet, and she lived to be 110.
Oh, so that's what she got some strength on it then.
I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but what I can say is that sometimes you can use fertilizer, and it makes your plants grow strong. But if you ever fall down, if you want to live long, just spend a few hours in a pit toilet. You're good 20, 30 years on your life, if you can come out.
Everyone experience a pit.
Yeah, man, they had to get rope and everything, got down there and get her, brethren.
God, poor thing.
I mean, she lived to 110. Brethren, you know how much extra life she got? People.
Well marinated up.
Yeah, so all those, if you want some extra life, you know what to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you bring some rope with you and somebody there to pull you out.
Yeah. Look, there's the map. Map?
Where?
Map.
Map.
Map. Is that a map?
Map. Oh yeah, we invented them.
Yeah, the map.
Mop.
Oh, is it mop? You
Yes,
sure it's
it's
mop?
Mop.
Yeah.
Mop. Yeah.
We can't bring the screen up. Look at
No,
bigger.
you can't because it's on the. We mean bring this. It's not. It's a mop.
Oh, it's mop. Okay.
Yes, mop. It's just it's just the way the writing is. Cause
Okay,
it's not 100% clear.
So mop.
Gas burner. We could go through a list of the things then, right? Because I want you to finish off with the book if you want to. Is that story never finished, innit?
No, this story never
I want you to finish the story because you can't after the story. No. Right, come on about look, guitar. Oh, toilet. Yeah, we done the toilet. Gas burner, kitchen table, obviously, because some people never used to sit around a table. Some people used to eat on the floor.
Yeah.
I remember when I was young. I tell you something. People might think I'm really, really old, but I'm not. You understand? What type? Raggedy.
Go on,
Yeah.
Ragga.
Gas burner, kitchen table. Yeah, we used to sit on the floor and eat. They used to make you sit on the floor and then you bring your food, you eat there on the floor. When I was a youth, not at home, but when they had babysitters and things, people, I can tell you about the history of this place growing up.
The gas burner now. The gas burner, do you know how much how much skin I lost from these gas burners? You remember the gas burners back in the day? The petrol power.
That's not gas burner.
But I can guarantee you that gas burner led down to the paraffin heater.
No,
you don't
the
think
paraffin
so?
heater first
before the gas burner.
Yeah,
but still, it's still responsible for me losing a lot of skin.
The paraffin heater.
Yeah,
paraffin heater come out before the gas burner. Cause I remember first it was coal fire. Yeah. Oh gosh, man, that's good that I got some history, you know, people. Now I know when our parents got the history, go and get it from them. First, it was coal fire. The man them used to come to the house once a month or once every 2 weeks with a big bag of coal, and you throw it in the coal house outside.
Yeah.
Right, we had that. Then you had the coal fire. Then after that, you got the perfin. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, when the man come with the perfin thing and you fume out the house with perfin.
You edit though, but I used to love the smell of the perfin though.
Yeah, and then you add after that you get the gas fire. Yeah, so then that's what it was.
Yeah, man, that perfin heater thing there was dangerous, man.
Right, so pressure cooker. Made by the man them. Fire extinguisher, locks on the door, right? Shoe fastening machine.
Yeah, the shoe fastening. The same Jan. Yeah, that's
shoe, right. So that's his name, Jan.
Matzile.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah. There's so much things. What else is there? Elevator, the lift. Every time you go in the lift.
That's right.
Yeah. The gas mask, what they use in the war. Imagine how much millions of people got saved by the gas mask, how much money they made off of the gas mask, and don't realize says your people make that. Obviously, I said the traffic signal. Well, I said that twice, you know.
Yeah, because, you know.
I said it off the start. That means who made the traffic signal? Jarrett Morgan. So I'm sure I said that before.
No.
Yes,
you said it the first time, when we were saying it's the red, gold and green. And whatnot.
Yeah, but he also said another man. All right then, so that's the traffic signal. Hairbrush, yeah. Linda Newman make that the hairbrush. folding chairs, like the deck chairs, them, what you see on the beach, we make them. Hand stamp, yeah, they look what you stamp things, they make that. The big pen, the fountain pen, yeah, what you write with, yeah, the dustpan, what we call scoop, yeah, you lot call it dustpan and brush, yeah, dustpan, and the dust you take up dirt, yeah, but we call it scoop, because we use it to scoop up the rubbish, yeah, so all those who know about scoop, yeah. Insect destroyer gun, baby buggy, otherwise known as a pram, yeah,
or a push chair.
Yeah, we call it pram. Yeah, so I'm just giving you the original name to some of them. Yeah, so we invented the baby buggy, the pram. What's this?
Sugar.
The sugar refinement or something.
Yeah,
I mean, no, you can't see it
see that
properly.
one,
No,
yeah.
you can't see that properly. The clothes dryer, right? Ooh, cellular phone. Wow, people, did you know we made the cellular phone? Well, I know, say it must be
Henry Sampson.
Man, you see, that's how much we care about our woman. That we had to go and make a phone to find out we're there.
Yeah, that's right. You made the kitchen table to make sure that the dinner was on the kitchen table, and you made the folding chair to make sure one could sit down and yam your belly full.
Yeah, we made the heating furnace so you can cook the food pan. We made the folding chair so you can go around the table.
And
you know what I mean?
Dinner upon the table.
And the fountain pen for write down with menu. The dustpan for you to clean up after you cook. And then when we're done now, we'll go out of the bedroom.
And then when you go give us pit, you make baby
buggy.
buggy. You push the baby,
so
you know.
we don't want to carry the baby.
You make clothes dry, so when we wash your clothes, you can dry the clothes pan.
Yeah, you see, we make everything for you,
see,
dear.
You see these things?
Cellular phone. We make the cellular phone because we can't. We have to find you. We have to know where you're there. You know what I mean? If you're there with our next man, say, yo, take this phone.
Wow.
So we
But after doing all of this cleaning and folding of chairs and table, presenting and all that, where we find time to have man?
Pressing comb. We made the pressing comb. Remember the pressing comb?
Yeah, I had
all
my
type
hair
the ladies
fried.
who know about the pressing comb that burn the back of your neck.
Yep, I had my hair
I used
fried
to
with
bun
that.
my sister's neck bare times.
My ears was burnt a couple of times.
That's good. That's good, man. That's the original
that
tattoo.
smell of flesh burning.
Oh yes, wonderful. All right, the lawn sprinkler, the automatic gearbox in your car. Yeah, that was invented by us. There's so much thing. The fridge. Yeah, because you know we have to check for our food, and we don't want you bring with us stale food.
That's right.
So we make sure we make a fridge
spoil,
to keep the food cool.
That's right.
But they made it out like it was a European man in America that made the fridge from some. They was transporting food from one place to another place, and they didn't know how to do it. So somewhere along the line, they got the idea to pack out the train compartment with ice.
With ice.
Yeah, to travel the food from here to there. But that is the fridge. But they took the idea from this guy here. Yeah, they just enhanced his idea and they put their name on it, and this is how you got Hot Point and all these people now.
That's right. Yeah.
Right, a helicopter.
Wow.
Yeah, is invented by us. The staircase, you know, the
static limbing
wheelchair. Oh, the chair for the disabled people or something.
Yeah.
That's made it by the fire escape ladder. Yeah, we know we had that before. We had to have that to escape. Cause you know when they come for Bondo on your house with the clan man, they come Bondo.
You know, see the ladder.
So we needed an escape ladder. People, I reckon 50% of the thing that black man invented was to save their life.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? To make things easier to escape, like the baby buggy. We can't carry the buggy and run from the clan. So what we do? We just put the baby in a pram.
Yeah.
And gone.
And gone.
And
run.
gone. Yeah, so
that's why they have these joggers. You know the jogger prams, when you see the women them jogging behind the prams now. Have you seen them?
No.
Up in Moswell Hill and Highgate and all those posh places. They've made these big prams and you can put the babes in there and you can run.
Yeah.
They've made it so you can run with this pram, you know.
Okay. And so when you trip over something now, and I was dropping a little ditch.
Well, you know what, the wheels of the buggy, they're almost coming like these car tires. They're so thick and sturdy that they're good. That's what they're made for, to run over these terrains so you can run smoothly. Okay.
Anything else we invented? We invented the helicopter. The helicopter was invented by Paul E. Williams, right? As I said, the fire escape ladder, you don't know why we definitely need, we don't know we make that. As I said, when the clang come through or something through your window, you need to escape. So obviously, that's where it come from. The fire escape ladder for run out of the house. Telephone transmitter, yes, we made that. Relay instrument, telephone system. So basically, when you're on your phone now, we invented that, obviously, because it says we invented cellular phone. The electric railway system. There's so much things. The guitar, obviously. Toilet. We made the motor, the electric motor. We made that. Gas burner, kitchen table, controller, video commander. I don't know about that. Bicycle frame. The bike that you're riding now, that frame was invented by a guy named Isaac R. Johnson. Back in the day, the European came up with a bike called like the Penny Black and all of these things. Big bikes with massive, the wheel must have been about 12 foot high. And all these kind of wheels, big wheels. Bone shaker, that was another name of a bike. Yeah. Bone shaker was called a bone shaker because it was made of wood. Yeah, the bicycle called bone shaker. Yeah, and it was made of wood and iron, but it had no suspension.
Okay.
So when you ride on the pavement, or not pavement, but when you're riding, all the bumps, you feel every single bump. So they call the bike a bone shaker. Envelopes, we made that. Obviously, pressure cooker, window cleaner, pencil sharpener, fire extinguisher. We made that. We contributed a lot.
A whole lot.
Right, so
a whole lot.
People, when you look at all the things that we've invented, we have created on this page alone. we have all the means right here to be a very successful, powerful race. If we made all these things and we had control over all these things that we created, we don't need nothing.
No.
So we have to look at what other races have created, and we're going to do that another time to find out what they've created and compare them and see what go on. So
would they have created anyway?
Would they have created what?
Would they have created, or would they have just taken from what was created and just upgraded it?
Well, look at the Bible. Look at the Bible. Look at the Bible. Taken from the original, repackaged, given back to us, and we now think it came from Dessa. You know what I mean? Roman times, and Jesus was here, and the Romans was here, and all these people was here, and from then they wrote the Bible. Bible's been around long before them people was on the earth, like the Romans and all of these people, but they've just changed the name and call it Biblios or Bible, or when really and truly you have like the Nebuneta and all these kind of things, and all these books and my art and all of that stuff, and way before the Bible. So the Bible is just another copy of the original. Right, so we're gonna get back to the story time.
We get back to story time. Let me try to get it, squeeze it in.
Squeeze it.
So right, as we said, Jan, the invention could last. Which is,
tell them who the guys. The book.
The book once again is 5 Notable Inventors, and I purchased it from Amazon, and it's by Wade Hudson. Yeah, great black heroes. 5 Notable Inventors by Wade Hudson. Anyway, so Jan, who, like we were saying, he wanted to invent a machine that could last shoes. Shoes was the last thing that is about stretching the leather over a metal model of a metal foot, so that he could nail the soles into the shoes, to stretch the shoes, to nail the shoes into position, into shape, etc. and etc. He was told he couldn't make it. He was laughed at. They offered him $50. He said no for his invention. Then the offer went up to $1,500. Once again, he said no because he knew the value of his product, of his invention. Anyway, he got the chance to get the patent for the machine that he was going to make, the lasting machine. So that machine could last shoes from 300 to 700 pairs in a 10 hour working day. That is a lot of shoes. It says one person was
know how much
doing
money
the
that
same.
is?
Yeah, in today's standards, this is one person doing the same work by hand could only last 50 pairs of shoes in that time. Soon, many shoe companies wanted Jan's invention. So Jan and his business partner didn't have, they said, enough money to fill the large number of orders. So now, of course, the orders are coming in for the shoes, isn't it? For this lasting machine. So new business partners took over Jan's company. They forged a bigger company called the Consolidated Lasting Machine Company. But even though they took over the company, Jan was the owner of the patent, the original owner. So nobody could steal his idea or his invention, because he owned it outright. Outright. So it said Jan was given a share of the company. So in the years that followed, Jan's invention made many other people very rich, but he was almost forgotten. So you see, even in those that he was still almost forgotten. So it said okay, it just said telling about the pictures, it's just showing little pictures of okay, so anyway, let's get on to this. It says so it said Jan had gone without food in order to save money to build his machine. Now, if that's not discipline, you understand what I'm saying? I don't know what is. Because sometimes when you really like the saying goes, if you want good, your nose have to run.
Yeah, but enough of us are starved.
Yeah.
For our projects, like some of you, especially if you're doing a project or you're making something or you're building something or you're preparing for something, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't eat.
No.
You really,
and you're up late.
You forget to eat.
Don't sleep neither.
Yeah.
Because you have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, I'll forget your family. You know what I mean? There's so much things that we neglected. Yeah, that we don't realize when you're really on a mission.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So people, I mean, even what we do, you know what I mean, and what you do, you know what I mean? You make clothes and stuff and that. Some of you make jewelry and whatever you want to do, but sometimes we sacrifice so much that we don't realize the amount that we've sacrificed.
Yeah.
And one day you need to sit down and take a look at the amount that you have sacrificed and who you have sacrificed for your vision or your dream. You know what I mean? And was it worth it?
Yeah.
Because some of us don't realize, you know, we sacrifice our children. When I say sacrifice, I don't mean like put them on the line, but you neglect them. And I'm one of the guys that did that. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, man, I not sacrificed them, but I neglected them because I was more on the project of certain things. And when you realize and you're on this project of certain things, you don't realize.
Because there's no balance, and you got to try and balance it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no balance.
Yeah, so it's just something for you to think about, you know, when you're doing certain things. Look at the sacrifice.
It said here he had worked long hours, his health was not good. On August 24th, 1889, Jan died. He was only 36 years old. His great invention had changed the shoe industry and made shoes available to all people. In 1992, the United States government printed a special postage stamp to honor this great inventor. So that was actually a really, really brilliant history story that our children could learn from in school, but I'm sure they've never ever heard of this guy in school. Right,
so now we go back to the original well, not the original topic, but something that we wanted to talk about. All these people that we mentioned, how come when we went school, right, we can give you at least 200 people's names and we never heard of none of them at school? Even now,
you don't hear of none.
You don't hear of none of them. So that just that shows us back to what we were saying last week.
About
homeschooling your children.
That's right.
Because
homeschool them.
So imagine now, I have my children and I have European children in the classroom and I teach all these everybody, all about black people. Even the Europeans and in about black people, then they won't know their history.
Yeah.
My school will not basically include them. Although they're in the classroom, I am not teaching them anything about themselves. So when they leave school, they won't have no choice but to find a job working for me, because the qualifications they have are to work for me.
That's right.
If they decide to work for themselves, they got to find their own qualifications and educate themselves, because I'm not educating them to work for them.
That's right.
You understand?
Exactly. That's right.
And this is how it is when we were growing up in school and don't realize these things. The educational system is there to educate you to a point.
That's right.
But you have to educate yourself or your own children. Don't point the finger at them to say, well, they never educated us. But hold on, if they did educate you, where would they be?
That's right.
So
that's why they miseducate.
Yeah, they have to miseducate you, because if they educate you, then because of the way you are advanced and, you know, melanin and all these kind of things, where it helps you run faster, active, this, that, rare, you're already at an advantage before the game even start. So what they do, they start the game and they don't tell you when to start. They don't tell you that you're already at an advantage. You know what I mean?
That's
so
right.
They don't tell you that. Right.
No.
So you have to do your best and educate your children and yourself. Don't blame nobody. Don't blame them. Yeah, this is their system.
That's
this
right.
is their thing that they've been planting and growing from 1800s, from 1600s, and then now we come along and you expect them to educate us. No, you have to educate yourself.
That's right.
They are educating themselves. Their school system is designed to educate their students and their people.
That's right. And it's
Right.
like the saying says, when in Rome, do as the
Do what the Romans do.
So if you're in Rome, you're going to be expected to do what the Romans do.
Right.
Yeah, even though you're not from Rome, you're still, because you are in Rome, you have to do what the Romans do.
You have to do what the Romans do.
You know, they're only going to teach you about Rome. They're not going to teach you about nothing else. So we cannot be angry that they don't teach us about ourselves.
That's the point.
How to cook our own foods, how to cleanse ourselves, how to do whatever it is. They're not going to teach us about ourselves, because we are not in our own land. We are in their land. We're in their country. They're in their space. You understand? So please, you know, you're trying to fit yourself a square peg in a round hole. You're forever going to be a square peg in a round hole. You will not fit. So you've got to teach yourself while you're not in your own environment, your own culture, whatever. You're going to have to teach yourself about your culture and your influence while you're in this round hole. You know, but remember, by the rivers of Babylon, you know this song where we sat down and there we wept, because you know, you remember in Zion. You understand? They carried us away captivity, but they still required us from a song. You understand? I said, how can we sing when we're in this country? How can we sing? We can't.
You can't sing in a strange land.
So in a strange, so you have to, you know what I mean? You have to teach. You have to make sure you teach yourself about where you're from, so that you can then, in the strange land, you understand, you can live, you understand what I'm saying? So, you know, we can't go, they never taught, and they're not going to, they're not obligated to. Yeah, but we are obligated to our children, grandchildren and so on, and ourselves, to teach ourselves.
Yeah, so as you said, you know what I mean, how can you sing the Most High song in a strange land? So if we are in a strange land, you don't expect the strange land to educate you to empower you to be better than the people or equal to the people on the land that you are on.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you're in a strange land. Just if you go to China, you can't expect them to teach you about black people in China.
No.
And if they don't teach you about black people in China, you're going to vex.
Exactly.
They're not going to teach you about Chinese. And hope they make special fried rice. You know what I mean? And then thing there. Special fried rice.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and then
Like special fried
yeah. I don't know.
Cook my own special fried
there's some
rice.
people in there, brethren. You know what I mean? There's some puss and all them thing there's in there.
Yeah, and I don't know that a vegetable special fried rice. Can we not do the meat?
Well, that's
We
what's
don't do the
special
flesh.
about it. That's what's special about the special
Because
fried
we've got the
rice.
special puss in there.
Yeah. So if you got your cat missing, go check Mr. Wang. Right. Yeah. Right. So people, you're gonna round up the day, my girl, and what are you gonna say?
What I'm gonna say?
Yeah,
Listen to me. Do not sell your soul. Yeah, for 30 pieces of silver. Right? Do not sell your soul. If you've got an idea, just keep it to yourself. Even if your belly is dropping out, do not sell it. See it through to the end, because when you do, it's going to pay off for yourself, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and so on and so forth. So do not sell your soul for 30 pieces of silver. Please don't.
Sometimes people have to sell. Look at reggae sauce.
What happened to him?
Does he own reggae sauce?
Oh, you don't
remember
own it
you
no
went
more?
to no, it's not that. You can buy them out eventually. But remember, he had to go to the Dragon's Den to get the money to set up his own business. So he had to give them a percentage of his business.
Yeah, but he never sold it all out.
No, but he still had to give some.
Yeah,
so
and he could pay them back.
Right, so bear that in mind. You can always give a percentage of your business or your company.
Yeah, but
not all of it.
But not all of it. This is what I'm trying to say. Don't sell off the whole of it.
No, don't do that.
Even like a little percentage is fine, because then at the end of the day, as your business grows and you make the money, you can buy them out. You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, it will stay at that percentage.
Right.
That's how the contract is, and you can buy them out, but not sell out the whole of your soul.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Right. So people, I'm glad you've got that covered. We out here. Give thanks for the listening. The show was interesting. And
next week we'll be back with another inventor.
We'll be forward, man. We're not going back.
Oh yeah, we're going forward.
We're going forward
with another inventor.
Yeah, forward. What else we're gonna do? We should do some women inventors next week.
Let me see. I will go through. Oh yes.
Some black women inventors.
Yes, we should, innit? But this, you know what? I'm not being horrible or nothing. No. I will close my mouth. Okay, we have a woman inventor here.
Only one.
Just
one.
one.
We can do with her next week.
Yeah, we can do that next week. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So people, give thanks for your time. We're out of here. God bless you and guide you and strengthen you. Hope you've learned something. And if not, then maybe later on you will learn something. So God guide you and strengthen you from this time forth and forevermore.
Yes.
Right. And be good. You know what I mean? If you can't be good,
better learn to be good.
No, man. If you can't be good, you have a problem.
You better learn.
And there's something else that you miss. If he can't hear you, will feel.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. So we have somebody
spoken so confidently by someone who's felt many times when she felt many times when she didn't hear.
All right, so that shows you that the strap does work sometimes. That's what she's trying to say. Yeah. Or that the little one is reminiscing.
All to the notes of babes and sucklings.
Okay.
Yes.
So to guide you was the show of Pearls of Wisdom. Out of here till next week. Next up is Brother Sad with the Grail Message. Alright, bless.
Bless.
He who starts behind in the race of life must forever remain behind or run faster than the man in front. But remember, the race is not for the swift, but it's who endure to the end.
I will open my mouth in a parable and sing the dark sayings of old. Doth not wisdom and knowledge stretch forth the hands unto you, O children, I cry. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my life will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah, and there you surely fail. Oh yeah, now, oh yeah. Oh yeah. In laughter the heart is sorrowful. Your folly is your reward. Better a dinner of help where love is than feasting where there is wrath. All the words of my mouth speak righteousness. All the days of my land will tell. Take heed of the works of Jehovah.
joy, peace, even among the trouble. Look within, be still, free from fear and attachment. Know the sweet joy of your soul.
So take heed, your people, and live upright.
No cigarette smoking in my room. Yeah. I Stephen Marley. Bless FM radio, play good.
The returning